What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including bad news for Randy Orton, the 2023 Royal Rumble favourite to win, has Triple H been given more power, WWE superstars unhappy at recent change, Vince McMahon untouchable, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at bad news for Randy Orton. Atop of today's news is another report that Randy Orton is going under the knife to fix his injured back. Dave Meltzer reports in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that Orton is now having back surgery, meaning he'll be out of action for several months. Although this news isn't a shocker, it confirms fans' fear that Orton will be likely out for the rest of 2022. As with any back surgery, there are no guarantees as to the success, and complications could push back Randy's recovery further than expected. The WWE's babyface picture is devastated, not only with the absences of Orton and Cody Rhodes, but also with Biggie. While Biggie is progressing with his recovery, rumour has it that he's expected back in 2023 at the earliest. This doesn't leave the WWE with many babyfaces to challenge Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship, or many babyfaces in general. The only main event babyface on Raw and SmackDown are Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and arguably AJ Styles. What this means for WWE is that it has a limited number of opponents for Reigns to defend his title against, even if he continues his current schedule of rarely defending the championship. While the WWE's plans for Reigns seem to be keeping the belt on him until at least WrestleMania 39, the WWE could decide to take the Undisputed Championship off Roman Reigns or have someone else take the WWE Championship off him, freeing up a world title for Raw. There are any number of ways to do this, including having the 2022 Money in the Bank winner cash in his briefcase during a Reigns title defense, allowing the wrestler to pin Reigns' opponent, thus preserving the Tribal Chief's pristine record of not being pinned or submitted since his 2020 return. Whatever the WWE's plans are for the rest of 2022, Reigns won't be wrestling Randy Orton or Biggie. What do you think of the latest Randy Orton news? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the 2023 Royal Rumble favourite to win. Sit back as we have some riveting rumours to share on the wrestlers most likely to win the 2023 Royal Rumble. While fans have their favourites, a good indication can be the odds makers who help gamblers choose their wrestling picks. The Royal Rumble may be over 6 months away, but odds makers are already predicting who will win the all-important Royal Rumble that grants a World Championship match at WrestleMania 39. Ringside News' Joshua Jones summarised the favourites as picked by the site Bet Online for the Men's Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes is currently favoured to win with a 5-4 chance. Right behind Rhodes is The Rock with an 11-2 chance, and former WWE Champion Biggie with an 11-1 chance. Funny enough, Von Wagner currently has the most minuscule odds with a 501 chance of winning the whole thing. A Biggie pick may seem odd in light of what some fans saw as poor booking of his WWE Championship reign. However, Biggie's very real injury could create an instant storyline as fans rally behind his comeback. As for the Women's Royal Rumble, Wrestling Inc. listed the picks from the most likely to least likely to win. Becky Lynch 5-2, Bayley 9-2, Charlotte Flair 6-1, Rhea Ripley 6-1, and if you're looking for a long shot in the women's match, consider Maurice, as BetOnline has her ranked at 500-1. Things can change in a blink of an eye, however, when it comes to who can compete, as fans have seen with the recent rash of injuries in WWE and AEW. Nevertheless, based on what we've heard about the WWE's goal for WrestleMania, both Cody Rhodes and The Rock seem like good picks, as long as they're both healthy and The Rock's Hollywood schedule allows him to wrestle. Who do you see is most likely winning the Rumble? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Triple H given more power upon WWE return? Triple H's return to the Performance Center has led to some raised eyebrows, especially in light of his wife Stephanie's recent ascent to the role of WWE CEO and board chairwoman in light of her father stepping down. Triple H took several months off NXT after suffering a life-threatening health crisis, but is back, and according to Dave Meltzer, Triple H appears to have more power. Speaking on the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer elaborated on the situation, saying, "He was just there. He said that he was back. He didn't say what exactly that meant. I asked some people there, and they said that he just said things are happening, and he can't talk about them right now, but he's back." That's basically it. Whatever it is will come out on the days to come, but nobody knew exactly what he meant by that. Was he back running NXT? Perhaps. Is he back with more power? Yes. Does he seem to have more power now? We'll see what that all means. Even before his cardiac incident, Triple H was believed to have lost some power in NXT as Vince McMahon repackaged the black and gold brand as NXT 2.0. The details of Hunter's current role remain sketchy, so we think it's best to wait and see what details are revealed. Next up, WWE superstars are unhappy at the recent change. Now, as reported earlier this week, Bruce Pritchard has replaced former head of talent relations John Laurinaitis following Laurinaitis taking an administrative leave in lieu of his alleged involvement in the WWE hush money scandal. However, how are WWE superstars reacting to Pritchard taking over? Well, according to Dave Meltzer, not so well. Meltzer discussed the situation in this week's Observer, saying the reaction was generally negative from talent since Laurinaitis had a better relationship with most talent than Pritchard. A couple of talents expressed negativity, citing that Pritchard is generally quiet and usually not approachable, while Laurinaitis is very approachable and open to talking. One called the move scary. Perhaps the scariest part of the story is the perception that Vince McMahon is still calling some, if not all, of the shots in WWE, despite him stepping down as CEO and chairperson, while the WWE Board of Directors continues its investigation of him. Meltzer noted, but Pritchard being put in that position would seem by most to indicate Vince McMahon is still calling the shots. McMahon still running television while Laurinaitis is out is a double standard, but there will always be a double standard for the top people, and nobody is more top person than McMahon. The key is that Laurinaitis was not replaced, nor was somebody new elevated into that position. Considering Vince McMahon's history of micromanaging the WWE, would it surprise anyone familiar with him that he refuses to step away? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Vince McMahon Untouchable. Vince McMahon's current hush money scandal has some critics and fans wondering if McMahon will slip his way out of trouble as he's done before. One wrestler who thinks McMahon is untouchable is Happy Corbin, who recently discussed an incident where a playful Vince McMahon knocked Corbin's hat off. I was sitting down at this table and then I get hit in the back of my head. My hat flies off and I turned around and he's just belly laughing at me. I'm like, dude, I would punch you if I could. Yeah, I know he's untouchable and he can just mess with me. Corbin's comments show how Vince McMahon lives in a bubble where his word is final. McMahon's ability to elude trouble, whether it was a steroid trial of the 90s, the WWF's uncertain future in 95, or past allegations of him of misconduct, likely give McMahon a feeling of invulnerability. Whether or not this winning streak continues with his current crisis remains unknown. And finally, that time the police thought Corbin actually murdered Mysterio. Last but not least, the days of kayfabe may be over, but apparently one fan didn't get the memo back in 2020 when Baron Corbin threw Rey Mysterio off the roof of WWE's headquarters. Corbin discussed the famous Money in the Bank event from 2020 where wrestlers had to race from the bottom of the WWE's office to the top to secure the Money in the Bank briefcase. You may recall a gung-ho Corbin was determined to score his second briefcase win, so when Rey Mysterio got his way, Corbin sent Mysterio flying off the top. During an appearance on Mornings with Matt and Bob, Corbin recalled how someone legit called the police that Corbin murdered somebody. The now happy Corbin explained why he decided to put Rey's aerial skills to the test, saying, I got it in my head, well, if Rey is one of the greatest ever, let's see if he can fly. The WWE later explained that Rey had not fallen to the bottom of the headquarters, but somewhere close to the roof. Regrettably for the police, the WWE didn't explain this until the next night on Raw, so fans were left in the lurch. Seriously, we'd love to hear those 911 tapes. But speaking of the 2020 Money in the Bank, would you guys like to see WWE revisit its unique approach to its ladder matches? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.